All right, so guys, this is number 7, I want to say, from 6.3, and it says a researcher wishes to estimate with 90% confidence the population proportion of adults who think Congress is doing a good or an excellent job. Her estimate must be accurate within 1% of the true proportion. So part A says no preliminary estimate is available. Find the minimum sample size needed. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the formula, which I have right here. And it says, given a confidence C level and a margin of error E, the minimum sample size N needed to estimate the population proportion P is. So I have my formula here. I'm going to go ahead and write this down on my previous page. So N equals P hat Q hat times ZC over E squared. So N equals P hat Q hat times ZC over E squared. Okay, so first thing is we're doing it with a 90% confidence interval, right? So remember again what that means. That means that I'm going to draw my normal curve, right? And I'm going to look for these two values so that the area here is 90% or 0.90. So, excuse me, since the total area is going to be 1, that means that the area left for each of the pieces on the sides are going to be 0.05, right? Because if I add up all these three numbers, that's going to give me 1. So the way I'm going to find these critical values here is I'm going to use my inverse norm feature on my calculator. I'm going to type in 0.05, and that'll give me the negative value. I really want the positive one because that's what I have here, though. Okay, so let's do that on the calculator. So let me get out of here. Okay, so we're going to go second vars. I'm going to go to inverse norm of 0.05. And I'm coming up with negative 1.64. So, excuse me, this is a negative 1.64. This is a positive 1.64. All right. So now, for part A, it says, since no preliminary estimate is available, using my formula, it says, if we don't have point estimates, then these are the values that we use for my P hat and my Q hat. So I'm going to have 0.5 times another 0.5 times 1.64. Since our error is within 1% of the true proportion, my error is going to be 0.01. This is squared. So now I'm just going to do this part here on my calculator, okay? And I'm going to type it in exactly as I see it. So let me clear this. I'm going to have 0.5 times another 0.5 times 1.64 divided by 0.01. Close that off. We're going to square that. And I'm coming up with 6724. Okay, so 6724. So now let me come back to problem. And let's see, enter that in. 6724. And perfect. Okay, so we got the first part right. Now let's go ahead and do part B. So let me take a screenshot of this here. And let's go ahead and do part B. Okay, so now, same type of problem, right? The only thing that's different now is that we have values for P hat and Q hat. Okay, so P hat in this case is 0.18. So remember, my Q hat is going to be 1 minus 0.18, which would give me a 0.82. So I'm going to do the same thing, 0.18 times 0.82, 1.64 over 0.01 squared, right? So let's do this on the calculator again. 0.18 times 0.82 times, we said 1.64 divided by 0.01. We're going to square that. Okay, so I'm coming up with 3969 point change. So I'm going to have to round it up to 3970 because if you notice it says round to the nearest whole number, which is what we did. Excuse me, it says round up too. So guys, when it says round up, just to give you a heads up here, whether I came up with 39.6 or 3969.8 or whether I would have come up with 3969.01, If it tells me to round up, I always got to go up to the next one, okay? So we're saying 3970. So let's check our answer. So right here, we're going to go 3970. Check my answer. Perfect. Okay, let's see. So now we're going to look at part C. Part C says, how do the results from A and B compare? So I got three choices here. It says, having an estimate population proportion had no effect. No, it had an effect, because look at the first time we came up with 6,724. The second time we came up with 3,970. Having an estimate of the population proportion raised the minimum sample size. So did our numbers go up? No, it reduced it, right? So my choice here is going to be C, and I'm going to go final check, and we got it, okay? So I hope this helps for 6.3. This was number 7.